All right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, the soul, praise to the Most High. In the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Um, as you see, we going over Hosea 2 and 16, right? So I realized that a while ago I did a breakdown on Ahia or Yahweh, right? Exodus 3. But I realized that there's a lot of stones that was not really turned over, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of things that I had missed, and some things that should be mentioned or brought up with the arguments of Ahia or Yahweh, because that's not the only one, right? So in this one, I wanted to go over Hosea 2:16, which some of them do bring out. Um, but it's not a big deal. It's very simple. Um, you just gotta learn it, right? So, um, one way is they'll try to say that some Canaanite god is called Yah, and they'll try to use a they'll show a picture of a tetragrammaton on an idol, and then they'll say, see, that's the name of an idol, Yahweh or Yahweh, whatever the tetragrammaton is. That's fine. Anybody can take the tetragrammaton and do whatever they want with it, right? That doesn't mean that that's what it's for, right? The same way I can have a Bible, but I can also use that Bible to pollute the minds of somebody and trick them to believing that something is true when that's not what the Bible says, right? Now, I just use the Bible for something that is evil, right? When I read them in scripture and say that they have to be obedient to their masters, and so I could whoop them all day and they just have to bow down to me. False, right? You can take something. So like if y'all see my hands with all the blue on it, I just got back from work. But you could take something and you can make it evil, right? That's what you can do, or you can use it for evil. I wouldn't say you can make it evil, but you can use it for evil, right? The same thing as the lily. Am I saying that name right here? Boom, right? We have a breakdown on that as well. I think I did it on Facebook. But you can take something that is that was made for righteous and that is righteous in the eyes of God, or in that is okay in the eyes of God, and make it evil, right? You can make a banana evil, right? You can make a banana an idol. Does that mean that's what bananas are, or idols? No, bananas are meant to be eaten. They're not meant to be worshipped. So that's whatever, right? But I want to go over Hosea 2 and 16, right? So we're gonna read it, and I ain't sharing my screen. I almost started the whole video not sharing my Hosea 2 and 16. Right. So this is what they'll quote. And it says, and it shall be in that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shall no more call me, or what the hell, and shall call me no more Baali. Right now, mind you, this is not their only argument. For those of you who believe in a higher, don't get mad at me, because this is not your only argument. But we're also going to tackle the whole Mazarite argument as well. Pretty simple. So what they will do is they'll say, and it shall be at that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shall call me no more Baali. Right? So now, mind you, I'm just being them. So when you go into this word Baali, you see here it says a symbolical name for Jehovah, right? And Baal is an idol, right? And then you can pull up precepts how Baal is an idol, like Judges 2 and 13. Right? And they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtoreth. You see, that's an idol. But they'll say, every time you see the Lord, which is the tetragrammaton, that was added in by the Mazarites, right? Or the Masoretes, one or the other, however you pronounce it. They'll say that was added in by them, and they took out Ahia and placed in the tetragrammaton, right? Because that's what they worship. So they took it out, and then they placed that in there. So it really should say Ahia right here, and then they served Baal. And so when you go back over here, it says a symbolical name for Jehovah. Well, what does Jehovah mean? Yahweh, right? So Baal is an evil name, right? And we're not going to be calling him Baal no more. Why? Because when you read verse 17, for I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. So he's going to take away these names that are idols out of our mouths and give us the true name, which is Ahia. Yeah. So let's go over it. That's what they'll say, right? It sound good, right? Everything sound good. The brother Yari out here, powerful brother, he has a code precepts that I just for the life of me can never remember. Um the translation. I can't remember the translation, but it says when somebody presents their argument, they seem right until somebody of an imposing view questions them or brings their argument, right? So it sounds good. So this is why y'all can't be fooled and tricked by somebody who says something. You have to do your own research and hear somebody combat them, right? Because that's the best way to figure out what's true or not is when somebody who has opposing views, who is knowledgeable, the same as the person who you're listening to, when they go at it, you find out who is really telling the truth, right? So let's start at now, mind you, all up from verse 1 all the way to 12. It's speaking about how evil Israel is, right? You see up here it says Israel unfaithfulness condemned, right? It says plead with your mother, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. So speaking about a husband and a wife, I want you to keep that in mind. And let her put away her whoredoms out of her sight and the adulteries from between her breasts. What is this speaking about? Israel's whoredoms. What is that? Does that mean we were all whores? No, it means that we were serving other gods, right? So, and it says, I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms, right? And then it begins to speak about, for their mother hath played the harlot, she that conceived them hath done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers. Well, what are the lovers? Ezekiel 16, right? Powerful chapter. I read this, I never forgot it, right? I always understood what this chapter was speaking about. But you have verses 1 through 14. It's speaking about how Israel, when we didn't have anything, the Lord took us by the hand and he gave us everything. He gave us salt. He made us fruitful. He gave us gold, as you see here, thus wast thou decked with gold and silver, right? Um, gave us our sauce. He put us on game, right? And then our beauty went before the heathen, right? The other nations seeing how beautiful we are, right? That's why in Deuteronomy 4 and 5 it says that the other nations will see you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and say what great and wise nation this is. That's why the Queen of Sheba, when she came to Solomon, she said she she was just amazed on how it was structured because he was serving the Lord and he was implying the laws upon everybody. Verse 15, it says, but thou didst trust in thine own beauty and playedst the harlot because of thy renown and pours out thy fornications on everyone that passed by his it was. So what is it talking about? Well, simple. We begin to serve other gods. And the things in which the Lord gave us, we gave to those other gods, right? You can read that when you just keep reading down where it speaks about the children. It says that thou hast slain my children and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them, right? Meaning you took the children in which I blessed you with and you sacrificed your children to other gods. What is this showing? Israel's unfaithfulness to the Heavenly Father, right? But then you go down and it speaks about what, right? It speaks about us still being a whore and following after our whoredoms. But it says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because thy filthiness was poured out and thy nakedness discovered through thy whoredoms with thy lovers and with all the idols of thy abominations and by the blood of thy children, which thou didst give unto them. So these lovers in Hosea 2 is speaking about what? These other nations and their God. So what does it also say here? Now keep this, I want you to keep this in mind, right? Hosea 2 is speaking about a husband and a wife, right? And how the wife stepped out. Ezekiel 16 is speaking about how the Lord gave us everything and then we turned around and spit in his face. Verse 37, behold, therefore I will gather all thy lovers with whom thou hast taken pleasure and all them that thou hast loved, with all them that thou hast hated. And I will even gather them round about against thee and will discover thy nakedness unto them that they may see all thy nakedness. So now we under the curses, right? The same thing as here, right? We're under the curses, right? We gave the things in which the Most High gave us to other nations, right? So it says, verse 8, for she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. Let's go into the word Baal. H 1168, which means Lord. So it just means Lord. It also means supreme male divinity of the Phoenicians or Canaanites. So it could mean an idol, but it could mean a lord. It says a Reubenite. This is a name of a Reubenite. So it can say Baal in the Bible, but it could be talking about a specific man of the tribe of Reuben. It wouldn't be talking about an idol. It would be talking about the man Baal, who is a Reubenite. It's also the son of Jehiel, the grandfather of Saul. Saul's granddaddy was named Baal. So it could be talking about him, a Benjamite. A town of Simeon, probably identical to Baalath Bir. So it could mean a town in Simeon. There are 3 tribes right there that the name Baal is connected to. Now watch this. The Strong's definition as the same as H 1167, which we're going to get into in a second. It says Baal, a Phoenician deity, Baal plural, Baalim. So multiple gods that are idols are Baalim, right? Now, let's go back, right? And then it just begins to speak about Israel's unfaithfulness, right? Verse 13. I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, saith Yahweh. So what is it speaking about? Them curses is coming right after us serving these gods, right? So it's speaking about the Lord is going to now, what's the word I'm looking for? He's going to put the curses on us, right? There was a word that started with an I. I don't know what I was thinking about, but he's going to put the curses on us, right? So that's what that's speaking about. But now it switches. Now it's speaking about the restoration of Israel. Okay, pay attention. What did it say earlier? It mentions a husband and a wife, right? Then it mentions idolatry and us going to serve after other nations. And what happens to us? The curses, right? Verse 14, therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will bring and I will give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt. What is this talking about? The marriage. This is when we enter into the new covenant. Look at what verse 14 says in the NLT. It says, but then I will win her back once again. So the Lord is winning us back, and we're walking back in accord to the law, right? We're walking back in accord. We're walking in according to the law again, right? Let's just put it that way. It says, I will lead her into the desert and speak tenderly to her there. Now he's dealing with us tenderly. He's not dealing with us harsh, forsaking us. It says, I will also cause her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. He's done with us, right? We evils all here, right? You want to serve these other gods? What did he say in Ezekiel? I will gather up all these other gods and these other nations that you love so much, and they're going to discover thy nakedness. They're gonna rule over you. That's the curses. Salakia. So he's showing us wrath here. But here, he's showing us what? Mercy. Again, do you gotta pay attention? Verse 15. Well, we just read that. So it's speaking about us being married back to the Heavenly Father. Now we get to verse 16, the point of contention. And it shall be at that day. What day? Well, the day of the marriage, which is what? The new covenant, which what happens in this time? The blessings. And what's thrown out the window? The curses. Why? Because we are now having a new mind and a new heart, and the laws are written on our hearts, and we're going to be serving God completely, right? We're not going to be over there worshiping other gods because Yahweh Shai is going to be established on earth. His rulership is going to be established on earth. And it shall be at that day, saith Yahweh, that thou shalt call me Ishi. Hold on. I'll keep reading. And shall call me no more Baali. If somebody brings this to your doorstep, well, it's simple. If you're saying that this is connected to Jehovah, which when you go into it says a symbolical name for Jehovah, fine. How is this connected to Ahia? You would now have to say that God's name is changed as Ishi. They will say that. I ain't gonna hold you. They will say that. And they'll use this. Oh, is it Revelation 12? Let's see. Revelation 3 and 12. I'm tripping. So they'll use this right here. Yes, he will get a new name, and I'll show you. Right, man, mind you, Hosea 2 and 16 is speaking about the Father. Revelation 3 and 12. It says, him that overcometh will I make in the pillar of the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my God. What is it speaking about? This is Christ, right? My God is the Father. Christ is speaking. And the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God. And I will write upon him my new name. They'll try to say, yes, this is the new name that we're going to call him, Ishi. And Revelation 3 and 12 support. No, this is Christ speaking. So even if, which is not saying that Christ is going to have a new name, but even if you wanted to say it's speaking about an actual new name, well, it's only talking about Christ. When he says, and I will write upon him my new name, that's Christ speaking. It's not God speaking. It's not the Father speaking. He just made a distinction between him and the Father. So that doesn't work, right? So that's out the window, right? They can't use that because it's not speaking about the Father getting a new name, but rather Christ, even if they want to say it's a literal name. Let's go back to Hosea 2. Now we're back here. What does this mean? We're going to call him Ishi, right? God's going to have a new name. Where are you going to show me that? You can't go to Revelation 3 and 12 no more because that's Christ speaking. That's not the Father. And that's Christ saying that he will get a new name, not the Father, right? So what is this talking about? There is no answer, right? Because this is not speaking about a literal name. I'm going to show you. Let's go to Baali again. What does it mean? My Lord, a deity of the northern kingdom, variation of the name Baal, of a truth, right? It is a variation of the name Baal. What does it mean? My Lord. Are we going to skip over this part? When we go into where it's from, owner, husband, lord, owner, a husband, citizens, inhabitants, rulers, lords, relationship of character, right? Used as foreign gods, right? But again, it depends on the context. When you go back to the root, it says to marry, to rule over, possess, own, to be married, lord, husband, over, so on and so forth, right? So it doesn't specifically say evil deity, idol, foreign gods. That's it. No, there's other things that it can be implied to as a husband, as a lord, right? So, oh yeah, oh, okay. What is? I don't know why I did that. What does Ishi mean? Well, thou shalt call me Ishi. What does it mean? Man, male, husband, right? Servant, mankind, champion, great man, so on and so forth. But it means husband. What were we talking about earlier in the chapter? It mentioned who? A husband and a disobedient wife, right? Look what it says. For she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. This is not a new concept. When we read Christ and he speaks about a marriage, that's not a new concept, right? It's been speaking about a marriage, right? We're going to get precepts in a second. So, yo, man, you going through all this, but what's it talking about? This is a transliteration, right? Not a translation. What's a translation and transliteration? Boom. A translation tells you the meaning of words in another language. So if I say, for example, Shabbat Shalom, what I'm telling you is happy Sabbath. May your Sabbath be blessed. You know what I'm saying? We about to have a great Sabbath, right? Shabbat Shalom, okay? If it is okay, maybe I should just read it. A transliteration doesn't tell you the meaning of the words, but it helps you pronounce them. If I say Shabbat Shalom, I just gave you the translation. This is what it means. But if I were to transliterate it, I would just say Sabbath peace. I'm not giving you the meaning. I'm not giving you what I mean by that. I'm just saying Sabbath peace, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom translation is happy Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's meaning. But if I say Shabbat Shalom in transliteration, it's just Sabbath peace. So now you have to figure out the meaning, right? So that's what this is. It's just a transliteration. It's not a translation. The NLT gives you the translation, right? It says, when that day comes, says the Lord, you will call me my husband instead of my master. Okay. I see where you're getting at, but what is it? What does that mean? Up here, what's happening? The curses, right? Right here, what's happening? A marriage. What do you have up here? A disobedient wife, a wife who committed fornication, right? Spiritual fornication, worshiping other gods. What do you have here? A man winning the woman back and the marriage again, right? This is speaking about how we would view the Most High. We will no longer look at him as a God of wrath unto us, a God who puts curses on us, a God who has put us in the worst places to be in, right? Because of our actions, right? We're not going to be looking at him like that. We're going to be looking at him only in the most loving God we've ever seen before, the most merciful God we've ever seen before, right? The blessings will be upon us in the new covenant. Mind you, listen, it's speaking about a marriage. And in this marriage, what do we receive? Blessings. What was before the marriage? Our curses. So we're going to be viewing the Most High as someone who gives us blessings and who allows our children to grow up in the right direction and in the right path. Allow us to be fruitful and multiply. Allow us to live freely and not have to worry about nobody backdooring us and not have to worry about an army coming up against our kingdom. Because we have Yahweh Shai reigning. We're safe, right? What this is saying is, you're going to call me my husband because I'll be affectionate unto you, right? I will love you and I will bring loving kindness unto you. And you will no longer view me as a God of wrath unto you, right? A God who puts curses on us. You won't view me like that because I won't treat you like that. It's the same thing when you have a child, right? And the child is constantly disobedient. So what you got to do, you got to keep whooping your child. He got to keep going in timeout. What does he view you as? A mean parent. But if the child does what he's told, what will that child view you as if you're never whooping him? If you're never putting him in timeout, but you're getting the things that he wants and you're playing with him and he can play outside and y'all having fun time. What does he view you? I love my father. But when you have a disobedient child, what do you mean? Man, my dad be tripping, man. Some people go to the extent that they say, I hate my father, right? That's the same thing. We're going to be looking at the Father because he's not going to be punishing us because we're not going to be sinning. That's what it's talking about. Now, I want to let it know this is the only time that word highlighted appears in the Bible. But Ali only appears once, and that is in Hosea 2:16. But Alim, which we established earlier, it can be multiple gods. That is also mentioned in verse 13, right? Now, let's keep reading. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. If this meant gods that we called on that are false, that are idols, and that are foreign to us, it would be this same word. It'll be the same word up here It says, and I'll visit upon her the days of Baalim, where she burned incense to them, the false gods. Or I would take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, the false gods that we call upon. Listen, watch this. The NLT says, O Israel, I will wipe away the many names of Baal from your lips, and you will never mention them again. Right? Idols. Why isn't this the same word as here? Because it's not the same word. This is speaking about the way we view the Heavenly Father, not us actually calling on a name. Right? But Ali, let me see something. Let's see something. Masculine. Okay, and I guess it don't tell me. Let's see if this one will tell me. Nope. So whatever, we just gonna not do all that. What the hell? So right here is how we view the Most High. Right here is he's going to be taking these names, these false gods out of our mouth. And I'm going to prove it. Well, kind of already did, but we're going to further prove it. Verse 18, and in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of the heaven and with the creepy things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle of the earth and will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. He will be a husband unto us forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercies. How he treats us. Okay. So let's get a precept, right? Isaiah 54 and 4. 5. Salakia. For thy maker is thine husband. Again, this is not something that is new, right? The Lord of hosts is his name. Yahweh Tazabah is his name. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth, shall he be called. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, like in the early verses of Hosea 2, a wife of youth when thou wast refused, saith thy God. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, the early verses in Hosea 2, but with great mercies will I gather you, the latter verses of Hosea 2. Hosea 2 and Isaiah 54 are almost directly speaking about each other, right? In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer. Again, let's do it like this, right? Say you have a wife, and the wife in which you are married to never does what you tell her to do, does not respect you, does not listen to you, is disobedient, doesn't want it. You always have to correct her because she keeps doing the same thing. You're always going to be trying to correct her because you're not going to let the disrespect slide. You're not going to allow her to call you names. You're not going to allow her to lie to you. You're not going to allow her to do these things. So you're constantly worrying on how to correct her. So that's all she gets. Not all she gets, but you do that a lot. Now, say that same woman makes a complete 180 and she does not disrespect you and she listens to you and she follows you and she understands that you are the leader and she does what she's supposed to do. What is she going to get? She's not going to get the correction because she doesn't need correcting. She's not going to get the back and forth and showing where she's wrong because she doesn't do it. Right? Of course, nobody's perfect, right? Everybody's going to mess up, but it's not on the level of a disobedient woman, right? It's the same thing. We're going to view the Most High like he's our loving father, right? As a wife would view their husband. So it says, verse 8, in a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith Yahweh thy Redeemer. So it's speaking about how we view the Most High because of what he's given us, right? So watch this, right? Judges 2 and 13. It says, and they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtoreth, right? This makes a distinction between Baal and the Tetragrammaton. Now let's deal with the whole, well, the Tetragrammaton was added in by the Masoretes, and they took out Ahiah and put Yahweh or Yahweh. Cool. When did the Masoretes, who from about the 6th to the 10th century CE worked to reproduce the original text of the Hebrew Bible, added to Yahweh the vowel signs of the Hebrew words Adonai and Elohim. Does this say it added Yahweh? No, it says it added to Yahweh the vowel signs. So you had the Tetragrammaton, they switched how you wrote it, right? Which is a whole nother video. So main point is the 6th to the 10th century CE, right? Let's see how old the Masoretes are. About the 9th century. Okay, that doesn't really tell us, right? Let's look up something. The Mishe, Stele, or Mishe Steel. I don't know how to pronounce this. But we see that also known as the Moabite stone is a stele dated around 840 BCE, way before the Masoretes, right? Way before the Masoretes. And this is a stone written by, where's his name? Mishe tells of how Chemosh, right, the god of Moab, so what he's writing in this is basically how he took the things from the Israelites that were dedicated to Yahweh and gave them to his God, right? So it's the same thing as like in the gang, in the world, you have a gang who takes one thing from another gang and they have it, right? They done did backdoor and they make a song say, get it back in blood, right? It's ours now. Same thing, right? So on it is written in a Phoenician language. Y'all see it because Moabites are Hebrews. And what do we have here? Mind you, this is way before the Masoretes, about 1,200 years. I could be wrong on that. Wasn't the best at math. What do we have here? Highlighted. Ya, ha, wa, ha. Yahweh. Right? I believe it's mentioned. There's another. It's mentioned somewhere else. Because he wrote it multiple times. What the hell? I mean, one is enough. But he mentions Yahweh another time. Right? So, but we see here that this is the Tetragrammaton, and this is a Lord help me. This is a example of how the Tetragrammaton appeared before the Masoretes. So that argument is completely out the window because we have this here instead of Yahweh, or not Yahweh, Ahiah, right? You don't have Ahiah appear here, but you have Yahweh appear here. What's going on with this? If the Masoretes added in the Tetragrammaton, where will we get this from? Why is he writing the Tetragrammaton? Now, that one don't work. It's all good in the neighborhood. The Ketef scrolls. Right. This is 600 BC, right? Still before the Masoretes. And this is an inscription of Numbers 6:24 through 26, right? Yabaraka Yahweh Shamarka. Well, let's just read it. May the Most High bless you, keep thee, right? And what do we see? The Tetragrammaton. Now it says it, but I wanna show y'all. Right, where's the one I look at? No, it's not that one. And this one? Oh no, it's this one. Let's see. Where's the one that's clear? This one. Right. So these are two silver tablets, right? And on line 17, this is the modern way how to write Yahweh. This is the Y character, the H character, the W character, and the H character, right? On line 17. And what do you have on line 17? Ya, ha, wa, ha. Yahweh. It's mentioned somewhere else a little clearer. Verse 15 or line 15, right? The tetragrammaton is legit right here. I don't see Ahia, I see Yahweh, right? So that argument is thrown out the window, man. So again, Hosea 2 is not speaking about literal names, but rather how we view the Most High, right? All praise, we got it under an hour. I was hoping we was gonna get under an hour. See, I told you about the blue. Wrong finger. So yeah, so now you have proper understanding of what Hosea 2 and 16 speaking about. Now you have two extra biblical sources to prove not only the Bible, but to also prove the name of the Heavenly Father. You can also look up national gods, right? And on Wikipedia give you a list of national gods because we always were known by our gods. That's why when the harlot Rahab, when the two spies came around, what did she say? We heard about what your God did to the Egyptians. We heard about him, right? That listen, he's not a joke. I'm scared, so I will hide y'all. Just spare me and my family. So we're always known by our God, right? He's our banner, right? Yahweh is my banner. So y'all can look that up, national gods, and they'll tell you it says Yahweh, but we understand it's Yahweh. So I hope that was edifying. I hope y'all got a little bit more understanding. I will do another video about Yeshaya and Yahawashai, right? Proving the name of the Son of Man. But I didn't want to join those two to make it a long video. So as always, I'm at your service, man. But with that, I want to say, call Lord Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Yahushua, this all praise in the Most High, in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world innately called Jesus Christ, and Kwam Yahshua. And y'all stay safe, man. Y'all stay safe. It's an evil world we live in.